I'm a former social studies teacher, so I always very much believed to provide my students all of the facts on all sides of it, and then it was up to them to develop their opinion. And so the piece that I always said is, everyone's entitled to their own opinion, just not their own facts. So I do believe, as I see the conversations over the years, my concern has been, as a social studies teacher and as a citizen, that we make sure that we're grounded in facts that then can form the basis for whatever opinions that we have. So that's our interest tonight, is to provide the facts to the questions that were submitted, as well as provide the general information to the district. So let's get started. So a lot of this is, we didn't do a lot of glitzy slides, so a lot of this is pure facts, right? It's just presenting the data. And so I apologize, you'll see PowerPoint overkill a little bit with maybe too much information on the slides, but there's a lot of information that we want to share. I will also share with you that after tonight, similar to what we've done in other years, is this presentation will reside on our district website. So you can access, we'll have it chunked by questions. You don't have to sit and watch the whole hour presentation. We'll have each question segmented separately, so you can go in and just see that segment to the question that you might be interested in getting an answer to. Okay? So here's a real quick going from fast facts to frame the conversation. We have, and this number changes daily, we have 4,240 students in our district. That's pre-K through age 21. Now I know some people say, well, normally it's K through 12. No, we have a pre-K program that serves 20 students that are high needs. That is through a grant provided by the state of Pennsylvania. We also have Head Start students through a partnership with the BCIU that may not be included in this number, but are part of another pre-K program that we're doing to try to get students coming from needy families ready for kindergarten. But we also go to age 21. We have students in our district that qualify based on their special education needs to stay here until age 21 to successfully transition into adulthood. So you will see at our high school a number of students that go all the way to age 21, and they are entitled through state law to have an education that goes up to that age. 43% of our students qualify for free and reduced lunch. To give you an indication of that number, 10 years ago it was 19%. So over 10 years, we've gone from 19% to 43% of our students qualifying for either free or reduced lunch. One thing, I'm going to go back to this number, 4,200 students, that number is relatively stable. Like if you were to go over the last 10 years, you'll see our number of students stays between 4,000 and 4,300. But what I think is interesting in terms of a data point that I think points to the challenges that we have is that since June of 2017, June 8th, so the last day of last school year till now, we have had 679 new students enroll in the district. Now you might say, well, the number's stable. Well, for the 679 students that have come into the district, that many have left also. So we have this notion that everybody signs up in the summer, and they come on day one, and they stay through, and that's not the case. And Kathy, you know it well, as a counselor in our district, seeing the students that will move in at any point through the school year. So you can imagine the challenges of educating a student who might be coming to us in 10th grade, 4th grade, 6th grade in April, and getting them caught up, and getting them, one, transitioning to a new school district, but making that transition at a different time in the school year than what we normally think. Our proposed budget has us over $70 million as an annual budget, so it's a very large budget to manage every year. We have 821 employees. So that 821 employees, that's a combination of full-time, part-time, and stipended, right? So we serve our students in a lot of different ways, and so we have a lot of positions where people receive a stipend to do, whether it's coaching a sport, helping with the music program, helping in clubs, activities, that sort of thing. We have 31,000 residents in our district, and of those residents, boiling it down to households, only 33% of our households have children in our district. Now with that number, that's kind of a common number. I mean, it's not just a Governor Mifflin phenomenon. If you go across and look at school district, that's typically what you're going to find, is that, you know, the households in the school district really are only about a 30 to 40% range of those households that send students to school. So the thing for us to keep in mind is there's 67% of the households that are paying, you know, taxes to support students, you know, education and the public good. The median age of our residents is 43.9 years. I have an asterisk there because I'm going to make a point to that a little bit later in the presentation. So make a mental note of that in terms of our median age of resident. We have a 100-acre campus with Brecknock, this campus, and our secondary campus combined, with 6 educational buildings and then a couple support buildings on top of that. So as you can imagine, while the significant part of our budget is people, we also have a significant physical plant that we manage to have 4,000 students and 800 staff members come in every day, day in, day out, and use the building. And then our district comprises 5 boroughs and townships and encompasses 41 square miles. So I think some things to point out before I turn it over to Diane is how do we compare? A lot of people ask, like, okay, there are 18 school districts in Berks County. How do we compare with some of those numbers? Because if we just look at our own performance, okay, but what does that mean? So we are, as a district of the 18 school districts, 4th largest, behind Reading, Boyertown. And I want to point out with Boyertown, that Boyertown gets included in that 18, even though if you look at the geography, half of the Boyertown School District is in Montgomery County. So sometimes that is a challenge in looking at that comparison because Boyertown has that Montgomery County economic experience that looks a lot different than Berks County. Okay? So it's Reading, Boyertown, Wilson, and then Governor Mifflin. So we're number 4 in the 18 school districts. Of those, being the 4th largest, our budget is the 5th largest. Exeter is the 5th largest in enrollment, but they exceed us in budget size. And that's using, now in this too, we're using 17-18 numbers, and sometimes we're using 18-19 proposed numbers. So we'll note it as best we can, and it's based on the available information that we have. So with that, we're 14th in per pupil spending. So of the 18 school district, we rank 14th relative to how that budget instructionally goes to per pupil spending.